Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Three Bros and the Mic. You know who we got here, man. We got Mark, J Mac. Big Mako's here again.
Hey, man.
We got Big Mike, and we got Big Zay on the end right there, man. How y'all feeling, man?
Hey, we good, bro.
We got
Glad
Big
to
Mako
see
back
y'all.
in the building. Hey,
Glad
man.
to see y'all again, man.
I know we got a good topic. We got Big
How
Mako
y'all
back in the
feeling?
building, man.
Hey, you know it's going to be a good topic. We got Big Mako here, man. So since we're all married, I was watching this podcast, and the guy was asking, it was a married couple podcast, and the gentleman said, you have, everyone wants a successful marriage until, and then he left it blank.
Right.
So he left it up. He wanted to hear from his wife, see what she said. But I didn't listen to the whole episode, but it caught my attention.
No doubt.
Like, man, made me sit back like, dang, like everybody wants that marriage. Well, when I say everybody, I'm not really saying, everybody, but the ones who strive
Right.
for a marriage really want that marriage until they realize what. And my thing was they realized that they have to let go of something. You know what I mean by that is like, you have your lifestyle, she has her lifestyle before y'all got together. And then once y'all become one,
Right.
something has to be let go of.
Right.
If it's a habit of yours that you had as a bachelor, if it's something that she used to always do, and that's a hard thing to do. I mean, it sounds easy when you're at the altar with your wife. Yeah, I do. I do, yeah. I do all that. Sickness and health until it happens. You get what I'm saying? Being real about it. It sounds easier said than done, in my opinion. But my thing was letting go of something because we all have our lives before we met our significant others. And that's hard to do. Maybe it's something like letting go of your shoe fetish. You know what I'm saying?
I've been waiting on you to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying. Mako know I let go of mine a long time ago. Maybe it's a spot that you always used to frequent when you were, a bachelor or just kicking it.
Right.
Now, because you have to move different now. You say I'm my own man. Yeah, but you
A
got
lot of folks say you got somebody to answer to.
you got somebody to answer to.
doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So
Decisions,
my thing was, I think everyone who wants a marriage until they realize that I really got to change. I got to change something, and not the fact that they're trying to change you,
Yeah.
but you got to change for yourself because the stakes have changed. Everything is altered now. I can't move like I used to move. I can't stay up and game like I used to game. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all
You
think?
feel like you got to ask permission for certain things now that you man?
Ooh.
So you gonna be on compromise? You said permission.
Permission. Right, yeah.
Ooh, you no compromise.
Yeah, no, not particularly.
Choice.
Yeah, not particularly. But like, I mean, to Jimmy Mac's point, I do think that there are certain things that like you have to like alter. You have to like change. You know what I'm saying? There are things that like, I mean, there are interests in things that like, I've decided to do, or that I wanted to do, and being in a marriage, it's like you kind of have to put that aside, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like them 60 minutes with Charles, Ernest, and Shaq, and like Like I gotta,
NBA, TNT.
like TNT, like you
TNT.
know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo,
Charles.
I gotta, you might have to forego that to,
Yeah.
just ask about how your day is.
Yeah.
And like I have long days, bros, like long
Yeah.
ass days,
Yeah.
long days. And so when I come home, like that's not at the top of my mind,
Last
to be
thing we do is
honest.
talk.
Right.
Yeah, the last, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's no discourse to my partner,
Yeah.
right? It's just like, but yes, to your point, like, yes, I realize the adjustment,
Yeah.
and I realize, like, those are things that, like, I've had to adjust, and I've had adjusted, you know what I'm saying? But, like, that's kind of what it takes,
Yeah. Imagine. I was gonna
adapting.
say, Mark and Mike probably speak to this point too, man. You have friends and stuff like that might necessarily not be married and stuff like that, and it'd be a random Tuesday night, and you guys that you probably hung out with before, and they'd be like, Mark, man, just come out have a drink with me. You go out about 9 or 10 o'clock. It's Tuesday night. Like, nah, I ain't gonna be able to do that. But, hey, man,
Catch you next time.
Right? Yeah, man. Because when you married, like you said, to speak to your point, Mike, man, you have to know that. Okay, that's not a good idea. You know, we got to give baths. I need to wash some clothes. I need to help my spouse do whatever the situation may be. Me going out with you at 9 o'clock on a random Wednesday night is not gonna help my household
Horrible.
at all. Right. So
Optics are bad on that one.
yeah. So you have to change. You like you said, J Mac. The work that you had to put in. Everybody want to be married until you realize certain things that you're not going to be able to do that you used to do.
I mean, because somebody else is involved in your life now.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think another aspect of that, everyone wants something, a successful marriage until they have to communicate.
Yeah.
And that just came to my mind because before marriage, you may not have had to answer to anybody, like I was talking about, for permission.
Right.
You did your thing. How you did your thing.
Or somebody asks you where you going.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
What you mean,
Where you going? When you coming back?
Right,
When
what
you
you talking
coming
about? Hey, you got to communicate now.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
either like how you move, right?
Right.
Or even when you come home, how was your day? I mean, it was good.
Right.
It was all right. And you're like, you don't
And?
communicate. Like,
Right.
I'm talking to you.
Even with our
You know what I'm saying?
podcast now, everything is regimented now. Like, it's just like, okay, we out shooting again. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to map that out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because
schedule,
they
schedule.
did it right.
Yeah.
It is
You
just
gotta
not like,
communicate, bro.
oh man, we're going to shoot again on July 3rd. And it's July 2nd, and you just not telling me that. Nah, that ain't gonna. That's not how this.
Not
You know what
going-
I'm
that's
saying?
not how this works.
It ain't going down like that. Right.
Hey, we got a family calendar, man. I know y'all got one.
Right, we got one in the house too.
We swear by this thing. If it ain't on the calendar, it ain't happening.
Man, I don't know that
That's
calendar.
so
I
weird
know
to
it's
me.
there,
I know
but
it's there.
I still don't see what's on the calendar.
Right.
And I think
Shout out the calendar invites on the iPhone.
like that's a Will-born. You guys are I dot and T crossing, just
Regimatic.
Regimatic.
just do things the right way.
Right.
Where I guess flying by the seat of your pants is then gone. I think so much of it has to do again with who you're married to.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been in the trenches with this person and it's somebody, I think marriage as a construct is something that we're socially pressured to do. And it's not meant for everyone to do it.
Exactly.
And if you do it, you better be with somebody who obviously values match up, but has the same understanding of what it is to sacrifice one another. And I think the word is compromise.
Right.
You have to be able to put somebody else first. And even if it's not something that you were used to doing, you learn to do it because you want to reciprocate it.
Right.
I think if you fall into the trap of, my mother said it best when she says, does she want the marriage or does she want the man? If she wants the man, the marriage will probably come. But so many people want the marriage because it's what we're told we're supposed to do. And you realize once you say I do with this one person, it has to be a very dynamic individual. Because if it is, you understand, damn, I'm pretty good to be rooted with this one person.
Right.
Because if I was with 3 or 4, oh my God.
Right.
I
To say the big Mako point, man, this is crazy. It was somebody, this older guy, gentleman I was talking to, you know what I'm saying? We was talking 20 plus years or something like that. And, he was just like, you make a choice every day. He said, man, the only advice I can give you is every day you making a choice to be with that particular person.
Right.
You got to, you got to realize whether it's a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, every day that you wake up, you choosing to be with that person. Because you could do any other thing, but you're willing to work with this person, compromise, deal with whatever issues coming in. Because it's so easy to say, like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go do this or whatever. But each day, choose each other. And, that's for a lot of people, that's hard to do.
And I agree with that totally because I think a lot of people love the idea of marriage.
Concept.
They love that
Abstract.
that whole concept of marriage, the whole bells and whistles,
Right.
the wedding itself, the planning of it.
Right, yeah.
Your family all give you all kind of attention and
Yeah.
all of that until that ink dries.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is real. Like,
It actually starts before that.
it does. I was being generous.
No,
I was being
absolutely, 'cause
generous.
I don't
yeah.
know, it was like when you asked Callie, but when I asked your sister,
Yeah.
I grew up with 3 brothers.
Yeah.
I never knew about the tea parties and the things that girls do when they're growing up in
Right.
the whole
Tell me
chariot
about
and
it.
the prince and the whole horse and all that stuff, right? And I'm telling you, like when I asked her, I got off knee and we got back in the car.
Yeah.
She called her mom
Yeah.
and the wheels were already gone.
Oh, you know.
And I was just saying how blessed it's
Domino
like, this
effect.
is how this goes.
Yeah.
If it wasn't her,
Yeah.
if you've ever been in a situation where you could have married someone else or the concept of that person being with you forever and you just want to vomit. If it's the wrong person, if it's the wrong person, even your sister would be like, "Oh, how come when you think about your exes,
Yeah.
you know, y'all seem so happy together. You don't harbor any ill will. I'm like, because without them, I wouldn't have
I
you.
wouldn't have you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have
Oh,
three.
wow.
The three. You look at it as I used to say,
a
any
stepping
relationship
stone.
I had before I got my wife was a waste of time. Then I realized it's a waste of time, or it could be something that I learned from, or something that I used to
Like he
prepare.
says, you gotta fail.
Or
You gotta-
or
Gotta
here's
fail.
the one that you want. At least I'm blessed to have it. I use all those other relationships to prepare me for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes back to what I said last episode. You got to fail. You got to
Yes.
go through all of
Yes.
that to get to where you need to be.
Where you need to be.
You
Right?
know? Mark, what you got, bro?
Bro,
As
Your
it starts,
equipment, you got to worry about your equipment.
as it starts to rain,
yeah, same
we-
sentiment, man.
we're good.
It's yeah, it's one of those things. I think it's ideally people have this fabrication of what marriage is or what relationships are, and then when they actually get there, they're not willing to put the work in to get to that picture where they think they want to be. You know, so it's like everything dropping down to finances, talking about kids and no kids, progression of your livelihood as far as your career goes, where you want to stay. I mean, all those things that you should talk about before you get married.
Right.
You know, you kind of brush over it. Say, no, it's not necessary. We'll figure it out later. No, figure that shit out right now.
No, right, yeah.
because you're gonna say I do, and you be clink, and it's gonna be too late.
Right.
And that's why the divorce rate so high, because we ain't taking that shit serious up front.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Nah, you're not. Go ahead.
Like
Great
Marty
point.
said, man,
Great
I was just
point.
making a quick point, man. It was one of the rappers, man. He said, "Forever never seems so long until you in it, man." Now this thing is really
That's
forever
real.
when
Yeah.
all the fanfare is gone. Like Big Mako said, but you know, it starts before then, before you say "I do" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you get to the point where you get to the altar and all the fanfare and all the glitz and glamour, but when all that's going on, you really willing to put in all the work that really
Right.
required to make your marriage work, man. You know?
Yeah, because I mean, if you were loving your life before marriage,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
Why'd you get married?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I can't speak for y'all. I got married for one because I love my wife for sure, but I was missing something.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
I was missing something to not so much complete me, but to help me become a better person and become a better man. And I was yearning for that because my previous relationships, I thought that's what it was leading up to. But as you learn about people as the years go along, you start to see what fits and what doesn't fit. And then when I met my wife, it was just like, she fits. She's that puzzle piece that I needed. And that's when I knew, like, okay, but in order to do that, I have to be willing to let go of all this other stuff that I was dealing with in order to receive this new person.
Right.
Yeah,
But that's hard to do.
that
you know.
comfort though, and we've all, if you've been in relationships, long-term relationships, to be very wary of the trappings of the habits that you form, the comfort that you're in with that person,
Yeah.
even if it's not no longer there. You know, the family, you have friends that you that you mingled with. You're like, dang, if we break up, that's gone. Even if you don't want to be with that person anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just that familiarity and the pressure to continue it, even though you shouldn't.
Right.
And that's, Mike, you got something like you want to say something, man?
No,
Nothing good.
I'm listening. I'm taking it all in.
No, I
bro.
mean, because I'm just thinking about how many times have, well, for me, like I've been in different relationships, not many, but the ones that I was in, I took very seriously, and potentially saw at the end, not the end goal, but ultimately being married to them.
Right.
But then it's amazing, not trying to be spiritual, but amazing how God works. Like he'll start to reveal little things. like I thought, yo, I didn't know this about you. You know what I'm saying? Or now the conversations are different, or your attitude is different. The way you move now is different. I'm like, what is changing? And now I can look back and be like, that was, in my opinion, God saying, this ain't the person you thought
this ain't for you.
that you needed. No knock on her, but I'm just saying it was like, it's just not a good fit.
Right.
So
with what you just said, don't you think we were kind of talking about this before about like love at first sight? The more time and the more tenure you have with somebody, we're really not that patient. Even if you're trying to pretend to be something you're not, we don't do that well. And in time, those things tend to manifest themselves
right.
or reveal
Always,
themselves.
yeah.
So the longer that you're with somebody, you got 2 or 3 years with somebody, and you're like, this is who this person
Right.
is.
But
You can't keep that
but
facade up for that long.
Correct.
man.
But then the thing is, you got to be patient, right?
Yeah.
That's what I hear also with what Mako was saying. It's like a lot of people aren't patient anymore.
Right.
You meet somebody, love at first sight. I want them now. How many? And we talked about this before.
Yeah.
How many successful relationships have we seen on those shows? Maybe two.
Yeah.
Right.
They still together now because that was real.
Right.
Everything else been about the money.
Let me tell you this,
You know?
J-Mac, real quick, man. You
Go
know,
ahead.
I work, you know, my job affords me certain things, you know, people, you know, pour into us and stuff like that. So it was a particular customer that came in and this particular person explained, like, you know, I'm not getting married. Woo, 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 woo. She was getting her divorce decree or whatever the situation may be. But she was like, I asked her, I was like, would you get married again? And she was like, I would, but I would make sure I got to know the person this time. So, you know, we just talking and stuff like that and just conversing and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, he pretended to be this particular person or whatever. And I was like, she was like, how long we all together? She was like, we got married. It was within 6 months and stuff like that. So then to speak to y'all point, man, this person was able to give you this perception of themselves for this long. But actually when y'all got married, now you see the actual person and you like, nah. But then it's too late at this point.
That ain't what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Right.
But and that's to me. I used to always be the person when I hear people say, "Yeah, we met each other 2 months ago and now we're married." I'm
Yeah,
like,
like, huh?
Bro,
I'm still like that. I can't.
Bro.
I can't.
I can't even fathom that. I
Yeah,
can't even-
Word?
yeah,
There's
yeah.
people out there like
Right, yeah,
this.
that.
you really don't know somebody until you fight them. And what I mean by that is
That's real.
seeing them in conflict. It's like with this whole marriage thing. We've all, I don't care if it's volleyball, I don't care whatever. When you go to the boxing gym for the first time, I want to box because this dude's messing with me. I just need to know how to protect myself. Then somebody, boom, hits
Right.
you. And you realize there's no tap out. There's nobody else to come save me. I got to stand here and I got to learn this game. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I got to be conditioned for it. I have to be leathered up to it.
Right.
And when I was younger, and I just, you know, you got two boys.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them, look, man, you need to just have friends. And just have people that you have a bird dog, somebody that you roll with, somebody may think y'all together, but use them to get other girls.
Right.
Have fun, develop yourself.
Right.
Right.
But you have to, my mom sat at the table and I was like, what's wrong with this girl? Like, I don't get this. And she took a knife and my mom says, I'll fucking cut your throat, son.
Ooh.
And I was like, Ma? She
Wow.
goes, it's me. And you know that's me. But what if that's her crazy? You need to know that before you go any further with her. Everybody, I'm saying, in other words, the thing that the facade that you saw, that she complained about,
Right.
what is your person's ugly? What is their, what is their,
That's good.
their
How
wart?
ugly is
doubt,
that?
right,
What is
yeah,
their
man.
wart,
Yeah.
and can you roll with that?
Right, yeah.
Because if you're gonna have to roll with it through sickness, through health, like you said, eventually you're gonna meet that albatross, something that gets there and it's just like, we gotta go through this together because I can't hold this on my own and you can, and I'm gonna pull you through it, or vice versa.
But oh no, go ahead, please.
Obviously, we talked about that. Deal breakers.
Yeah.
Back to that.
No doubt.
Same
Oh,
thing.
wow.
Once you get to that point, what's a red flag and what becomes a deal breaker? Can you
What
push
you-
through this? Can you live with it? Can
Right.
you live without it?
And on top of that, all of us could probably, think of a time where someone will say to you, man, if that were me, I wouldn't, X, Y, Z, I wouldn't handle that. If that was my wife, I wouldn't do. Well, guess what? That ain't your wife. You know what I'm saying? She's my wife.
And I'm not you.
Right.
Yeah,
You
So-
know what I'm saying?
So that's what I'm saying. She was
Right.
made for me.
Right, yeah.
So, but it's crazy how the outside world
Perception
of
yeah.
they want to tell you. It goes back to our live episode. The intentions. Like sometimes it's good intentions. I ain't gonna lie, but a lot of times it ain't. But how they want to tell you like how to handle certain situations that happen in your marriage,
Right.
and then you're like, if that were me in this situation, but that's my thing. If that were you, but the reality is it's not you.
But you do a really good job
So-
as you and your wife in particular, and I'm sure Mark does. Everybody does, but you have to have this. You have to have the ability. This is me and you,
Yeah.
and we're gonna lock arms, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Close
this is our
ranks.
decision. This is what we're gonna have
Right.
to do. You can't.
rock with it.
It may impact us and may kind of maybe make us feel a certain way, but at the end of the day, you don't belong married if you do not have the ability to say, back to back, it's me and you.
For
You're
sure.
gonna be there, and I'm gonna be there till we fall.
Right.
And I don't give a damn what anybody else thinks.
But that's
so J Man, I'm gonna let you. I
Yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead.
want to play devil's advocate with you and
Come
Big
on
Mako
with it.
because the family that I married into and Big Mako and J Mac. Well,
Yeah.
J Mac was already. But
Yeah.
this dynamic of this family. When you say that, Big Mako, you know that your wife and Jimmy Mack play a pivotal role. It's probably a discussion going on right now about maybe your and J Mac right now.
Yeah.
And how do y'all handle that? How did y'all handle that? Like you said, everybody wants to be married until you actually get inside of. Now y'all in La Familia. Now y'all a constant conversation point
Yeah.
of the family.
Yeah.
Okay. If I may
Please
take
do,
this one real quick, you're in.
because I got something.
Jimmy's an informant.
Right.
I got
Okay.
something.
Right, yeah,
I got
yeah,
something.
yeah.
He's
I got something in the pot now. I'm playing the pot,
Yeah,
Z-
you definitely
Zajan,
stirred the pot.
It's a difficult thing, and I'm sure from your perspective, here's one thing I'll stand on.
Right.
I'm a Washington, and that is as important as a Wilborn.
No doubt.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And as long as we respect each other there, and it's not your family's more important than mine, my family's important than you. The thing I have to give my wife tremendous credit for is the day we got married, she made it about our wedding. All the planning that went into it, she didn't forget me. She didn't forget involving me in what I felt that day.
And you saw that.
And I was able to sit there and I said, you know something? And that's the riddle. Again, remember when we talked about position, men influence women.
Right.
She influenced me and took the position. Where I said, you know something? You did this. It wasn't just about the wedding. It was our wedding. She came down, she looked at me, she said,
Oh, right there.
right there.
That's
Done
it.
deal.
It was over. And,
Right.
and she's going to have bias towards her family. And that's okay. Because she comes from one thing about his family and our family now
Right.
is that they rally around and involve you and they love. And it's
Yeah,
easy
no
for you
doubt.
to trust them with the people that
Right.
you love. And when I weigh that against my family, I could sit there and say, the best thing I could ever say about my wife is I wanted her to be the mother of my children.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that until they were born. I said, I could have been with anybody else who left them with anybody or did whatever.
Right.
I can take whatever the trade-off is.
Right.
Then my pride as a Washington to say, you know what, I'm proud to be, my boys to be half Wilborn.
Right. No
Yeah,
doubt.
because I think for me, man, is when you deal with family issues, you don't take that into consideration in a marriage. Dealing with family issues.
Right.
You just think it's about you and your spouse, but
It's
It-
real.
it's real.
Right, yeah, it's big
I've dealt with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
facts.
it's people on her side, people on my side, not agreeing with certain decisions
No doubt.
that we make because of tradition.
And y'all still, but see you, I got so much respect for
Hey,
you because
hey.
you were willing to do what you and your wife felt
exactly.
was right.
Exactly.
And in the
Yeah.
end, you're going to see who
Spite
really
of it all.
has your agenda at play and their
agenda.
at play.
And
People can be selfish.
Right.
We get that. But
Yeah.
if you can't stand on that, at the end of the day, you're a Miley. And as long as the
Facts.
pride of being a Miley doesn't supersede a Hawk, you yield to the Hawk. But if the minute you start playing that little, because of my birth,
Yeah.
I'm entitled to this, you lose because you take away from the dynamic of the unit that you form.
Right.
If she shows you how important you are as well, you sit there and be, you got this.
That's right.
I mean, I was just gonna say really quick, man, that when I got married, it's in the Bible. Man shall leave his
Yes.
mother and father
Right.
Cleave.
And cleave to his
and
Cleave.
cleave and
Say it,
cleave
Jimmy.
Cleave.
Say
and
it,
cleave
Jimmy.
to his wife,
Say
right?
it, Jimmy.
Which means I am now creating my own family.
Talk nice.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not.
nice.
Yes, you are leaving your family,
Right.
but not technically leaving your family.
Right.
You're starting another family within this family that I have to. Oh man, go ahead and stop it. Go ahead and stop.
You had to-
Hey, I thought I turned the sound off, but I had to learn that because in this family,
Right.
it was like everything was involved with the Wilborns. Everybody knew everything that was happening. You did this. We all went here together. We did this together. We did that together. And that's how all I knew. But as I got married, I had to understand that my family may want to do something different. And that's okay. It's no shot at my family. It's we're building our own foundation. We're building our own thing now.
Right.
And you'll find out, like you said, who rocks with you and who don't rock with you. So respectfully, I love everybody, but when I can lay my head down at night and look across the bed of my wife and see that she's happy, Hey, I'm good, bro.
But most of the people that are being critical of that
Yeah.
really aren't happy themselves.
Oh,
Even I'm not talking about this specific instance. I'm
I
just
got
saying
you.
if you got enough time to worry about what the heck I'm doing, you really ain't focusing on the ball coming at you.
Right.
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember when we were moving, you and Mark and I were outside,
Yeah.
and you and Callie were kind of.
Oh,
and me
yeah.
and Mark, we was like, dang, they
They
get
just
into
get
it
into
too.
it,
bro.
Like
Yeah,
they fight too. It's just that
We get into
human
it.
element. But at the end of the day, with you, I sat there, and everybody knows specifically what we're talking about. We don't have to get into detail.
Right.
Your ability to, I said, that's what's supposed to happen. That's between him,
And
his wife,
wife.
and the path that they decide to lead for their family.
Right.
He has not uprooted himself.
Yeah.
He has merely decided that this is what's best for us right now because in the end, that's what we're going to have.
Yep.
And he hadn't left anything. It just means that, again, he's the prodigal son.
Yeah.
He could come back to whatever foundation he originally came from.
No
doubt.
But he did.
What's up?
If you, as a man, if you don't have that, you don't need to be married. You don't need to be. If you care what your father-in-law thinks, it's okay to take in perspective and
Right.
just to value opinion.
And
But at
pull
the
from
end
that,
of the
yeah.
day,
Yeah.
this is my decision.
Right.
Period. With my wife's decision. Okay,
Right.
It's not. We don't need permission for
Our
that.
decision, right?
Yeah. So I guess man, it's so good. How do we wrap this up?
Man, you opened up.
This
I
is
mean,
a two-parter.
a successful marriage, man. It takes sacrifice. It takes a willing to change, a willing to grow, and a willing.
Page being together.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
You gotta be
That's
together,
it.
and you have to be willing to take the blows as it goes.
Yeah.
Humble yourself.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Humble
Yes.
yourself because it's
Ego is a mother. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
hey,
Yes.
That's
See
a
that
fact.
you?
That's a fact too.
So humble yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you could get locked in with the perception that people have. You can get locked in like I'm pretty sure all of our weddings, somebody had a perspective on how it should go. You know,
Yeah, we didn't have bridezillas, man.
Right.
You look at that as
we
like, I'm so blessed.
we
I'm
lucked
like,
up
man.
in certain aspects. You know what I'm saying? We lucked up, but I think the fact that we did it the way we wanted to do it makes it more satisfying, more gratifying. Because I think if we would have done it the way others wanted to do it, we wouldn't have such a memorable experience.
Right. Amen.
So make sure that to make a successful marriage, you communicate.
That's it. Communication.
You
is
work
key.
with each other. Work with each other,
Right.
and watch everything else work out.
Right, and we getting wet out here, man. So we love y'all, but
Hey,
just
hey,
like y'all like our
subscribe.
commitment.
Hey,
Hit that
subscribe,
button,
man.
but like we gotta get out.
Hey, and we gonna see y'all next time.
Appreciate it.